The 2022 Arizona State Sun Devil season is upon us. We'd like to welcome you to the Arizona State Football Insider. I'm your host, Rob Penn, along with Sun Devil royalty, Juan Roche, J.R. Redmond, and David Fulcher. How you guys doing, fellas?
We're doing good, man. Yes, sir.
Definitely, man. We stoked for this season. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a great run. You know, it's going to start off a little hot outside, but it'll end up, perfect weather here in Arizona. We went to that Pac-12 championship.
Absolutely. Nighttime football was synonymous with ASU, and it's been synonymous for that very reason, all the way back to the Frank Kush days. I know a little bit of history. I used to read the media guides. Fulcher's probably going to laugh at me for that one.
Yeah,
but, that was nighttime football was for that reason. Because it's so hot during the day, they wanted to get those stadium seats filled. So we would play at 7 o'clock, back all the way down back to the 50s and 60s. It wasn't unheard of even during the Kush years. They would get 70,000 as an average attendance back in those days. So we got to get those days back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, football was, I remember when I came there as a freshman in 82, where all my classes were during the day, and we had football practice during the night because it was too hot, man.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, coming from California, I went from 75 to 105, and let me tell you, it was hot. Definitely.
It stings. Yeah, we did practice at night as well, Dave. We would practice from 7 to 9 to get us acclimated to the nighttime, and obviously because of the weather.
I think we practiced a little bit later than that. I think it was 8 to 10.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah, man. He made sure that we had Daryl Rogers. Daryl Rogers made sure that we were prepared, man. And even at 8 o'clock at night, it was still a little bit humid. And I would say humid because people say it's dry heat when heat is heat. So, yeah, it didn't matter what the weather was. We were practicing at night and playing early games during the day.
Definitely. Hey, for a kid from Michigan, I tip my hat to you guys that did that, man. Good Lord. Yeah, goodness. I walk outside at night and I just respect what you guys did out here and what you went through. Goodness. Definitely. Hey, so the first 3 games of the season are pivotal. They're really going to set the tone for the rest of the season here. We first game in AU, second we go to Stillwater, Oklahoma State, and then we come back and play Eastern Michigan. What's your outlook on those 3 games, and what we need to do?
Well, I look at it like this here. We've got 2 games that are obviously winnable games at home, and then we travel to Stillwater in week 2. But it's always the first game because you want to know exactly what you got as a coach. You're going to play a lot of players just to see who works with who. And then once again, it's keeping people healthy. Football teams win championships or they go deep into the playoffs because everybody's healthy. You got training camp, as we would call it right now. These guys are out there playing football, and they're doing a lot of things. If they're trying to gel with the other player, trying to make sure what works, what fits. You might have ones playing with 2s or 2s playing with 3s. So the opportunity for these players to make things happen is probably going to be very, very important against Northern Arizona, or a team that you're supposed to beat. You shouldn't go out there playing in Northern Arizona and just kind of skip by. Because if you skip by that game in Oklahoma State, it's going to be a killer. So I think the opportunity for this football team to eliminate all the naysayers, got them 9th and 10th in the pack, trying to come out and finish. Nobody wants to be on the bottom of the pack. This is a football team that is coming back with a great defensive football team. And some new players on offense, but this is a football team when it comes to getting things started. It's not 3 games. It's the first game. And the first game is against Northern Arizona that they have to go out there and handle business. Don't look past Northern Arizona. Trap game. When you start looking past them, looking at Oklahoma State, you find yourself on the short end of the stick or not playing well. So the opportunity for this football team to get in and win these games, because the first conference game is against Utah. And that's not going to be easy. So you have to come out of this game error-free, injury-free, and playing some good football so that when you do get to that first pack game, you're ready to go.
And I agree with David on that, because when we talk about setting a tone for a season, ASU, the last several years, has always left something to be desired in game 1. You could call it the heat, the not being used to practicing at night. I mean, there's a lot of different excuses we can make for why there's a slow start for teams that you're supposed to beat. I think that needs to stop this season. There's a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of negative energy around the program right now with this investigation, and is this model working as far as the pro model? And there's a lot of noise around the program. And the only way you're going to be able to start to quiet that down is you got to come out prepared, ready to play, mistake-free football. This game should be over at halftime. But historically, again, recently, ASU has not done very well against these lower tier teams. They struggle. They can't find themselves. And in the second half, they come alive. They got to put a stop to that this season. They got to come out there and make a statement right away. This is not the same, run-of-the-mill ASU team. These are a different group of devils. You got a lot of new faces. We'll get into that a little bit later. But this is the opportunity to set a tone. Because your second contest, in the first 3 games, you want to talk about already dealing with all the different things that happened during the season. You got a team you should beat, a team that probably no one's going to expect you to beat, and then a team that can embarrass you at home if you're not careful. All in the same span of 21 days. Talk about pressure right out of the gate, but ASU has to handle like pros. You got to take care of game one at a time. Take care of NAU, 9 games before the next game, but that doesn't even matter. They need to come out of the gate fast. They need to be able to get focused, get to what's important. Run your offense, run your defense, get your starters off the game, put your reserves in. Now, keep something in mind, too, while I say that. NAU beat U of A last year at home. Went in and embarrassed them. Wow. Now, granted, U of A was a 1-win team last year, and it's been struggling lately. But a Division I AA team should never beat a Division I team, especially a Pac-12 team, much less an Arizona team. Period. It should never happen. It shouldn't even be close. So that's something that I'm sure is in the back of Herm's mind. It's in the back of Billick's mind and Glenn Thomas and all the rest of the coaches. I know that they're saying that this week and going into next week. Y'all better watch yourselves. Come out of this game, take it seriously. Let's take care of business.
Hey, ranked 4th in the Pac-12 South last year, giving up slightly over 21 points per game. What does that defense have to do to be a threat in the Pac-12 this year?
Well, once again, it's making plays. They've got athletes to do the job, but it's making plays and it's paying attention to detail. They got a bunch of starters coming back on defense, and one of their key starters was Kyle Soule. Kyle, led the team in tackles last year with 88 tackles, and to me as a linebacker, that's pretty low on tackles. But 88 tackles is not bad. When you start talking about 8 tackles for a loss, he had a sack, interception. So, he's done some good football. But the problem is they've got to attack the football. They got to chase the football around. Everybody's got to come up and make plays. Defensively, offensive teams put points on the board. Defensive teams stop people from scoring. If you can keep them from scoring and keep the ball away from the end zone, if you're going to give up points, you give up field goals, you got a chance to win. And earlier in the year last year, this football team did that. And all of a sudden, I think they hit a roadblock when they went up to Utah and forgot to play football. That's right. And once that ship went down, everything else went down. So defensively, paying attention to detail, flying around the football. And once you do that, man, you're going to be okay because the offense is not bad. Yeah, they got some new players in there, new quarterback coming in, but they know how to score points. Defensively, if you stop people and you make plays, and then once again, staying healthy. I think if this football team can stay healthy, and that's with any team, you stay healthy, give yourself a chance, you got a chance to win a game, you got a chance to win a title. And if they want to get the monkey off their back, because they were a really, really good football team last year on paper. And there were times that they really showed up to play football and they did some things, and then they didn't show up. This is a different football team run by a different quarterback, different attitude. Is it going to be a different result or the same result? And I think this football team has the opportunity to make things better in Tempe.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Juan, last year the offense ranked 6th in the Pac-12 South. They bring in Emory Jones as a transfer. They named him the starter last week. In Florida last season, he threw for over 2,700 yards and 19 touchdowns, but also had 13 interceptions. How's that offense looking this year?
When you look at it on paper, it can be very impressive. But to me, obviously on paper, doesn't win football games. And it's going to come down to ball control. They're going to go to a pro-style look, which I think is the right move when you got the running backs that you got with Ngata, and of course with Xavier Valade, who transferred in from Wyoming. All reports that I've heard is the kid's a bruiser. He likes to run. He likes to run through people. Now you got to look at the offensive line in that situation. You got to look at guys like Ben Scott, Ladarius Henderson. That is the core of the unit coming back. The other 3 guys are transfers. We'll get into them a little bit later. But what is key for this offense this season is you cannot give the opposing offense, cheap points. You can't give them interceptions. You can't put the ball on the ground. You can't put your defense in bad situations. Our defense is a good defense. They will stop people. They will even get the ball back. But we cannot put them in a situation where they're defending a short field. It's a long, it's an interception return for a long gain. Now they're 1st and goal on the 3. We did that a lot last year. Put our defense in really bad situations with penalties, false starts, you name it, especially that Utah game. It just got ridiculous at the end with false starts, miscues, missed throws, drop balls. The offense cannot do that to this defense. If you give this defense the ball back, if you're moving the chains, scoring points, whether field goals, touchdowns, whatever, get their offense, get the defense on the field with a long field, we can do some great things. So this is really going to come down to, again, paying attention to detail. It's always the fundamentals. No missed blocks, being able to finish plays, finish them strong, no penalties, no stupid penalties, especially on the long gains, on the 3rd and 1s, we get a false start. I mean, we can't do that. They got to be mentally right. They got to be mentally sharp. The veterans of this group that were here last year, that have been through the fire, that have been through the wars, need to rally the new guys and bring them up to a new attitude, bring them up to a new approach, a new direction. That stops this year. Too many mistakes, too many things have gone wrong because of mental errors. That needs to stop if this team is going to be successful.
Our next segment, the Sun Devil Spotlight. Please allow us to introduce to you Sun Devil legend, Jake the Snake Plummer. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, Rob. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm pretty good, man. I'm wonderful, man. Ecstatic. Loving this, man. I just wanted to bring up, how much of an influence that you were, man, and how great of a quarterback you were and a person overall. And the things that you're doing right now, man, for the culture, man, for the people in general. I just want to tip my hat and say thank you, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. It's an honor to carry on, the legacy of being a Sun Devil. There's a lot of great ones out there. And, you got a couple joining you on the show here, David and Juan. And I'm blessed with that as part of my upbringing. And now I get to go out with confidence that I gathered from being a young Sun Devil coming out of Boise, Idaho, carried out into the world now and make people think and present them with something they may not have thought of before. But that all started, with that confidence I gained as a young man down there in Tempe, leading those big boys out on the field.
Yeah, definitely, man. Now, you came in as a freshman, went through that summer, and was ultimately named QB1. Tell us what you remember about coming through that tunnel for the first time as a freshman.
Yeah, it was I was backup. So I got the backup spot, and I was backing up Grady Benton. So we played Utah in the first game. And, I was just bright-eyed, man, bushy-tailed. I didn't know what I was really getting into. And I played in Boise, Idaho at the Broncos Stadium. It was never full. We maybe played in front of 6,000, 7,000 was the most ever. And here I am in Tempe in Sun Devil Stadium around all these guys from all around the country and number 2. And so I was excited. I ended up getting in that game, throwing up a haymaker, rolling to my left to Carlos Chililos. Chililos artist came back and caught the ball. It was a duck. And he came back and caught it. My very first pass, took it 78 yards. So when that happened, I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. I think I can get by here. And then it was just a big learning process. But it was really phenomenal to come out and be a part of something that we were growing there. I didn't go to ASU because they had won multiple national championships. I went there because I'd never heard of the Sun Devils, never heard of them at all. And I was like, okay, I want to go down here. When I leave, I want them to be talking about what happened while I was there. And, sure enough, through those 4 years, we were able to accomplish that with a lot of amazing leaders and a lot of great teammates and really phenomenal coaches. And, I was a quarterback. I knew my role, but I had a lot of great players around me.
If I could interject on something here from a personal standpoint, I remember when Jake reported, guys, Fulcher, Rob. So, Bobby Petrino, the infamous Bobby Petrino was our quarterbacks coach at the time. And I was in the weight room and he rolls up and he says, he called me Juanita, right? He goes, Juanita, come here. And I walked out. I go, yes, sir. Yes, coach. What's up? He goes, go out there and say hello to the quarterback that's going to lead you to the national championship. And I walked outside and in this car is sitting this skinny guy. His hat flipped backwards. He's just chilling. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? I'm Juan. He's like, I'm Jake. I'm like, nice to meet you, man. Welcome. He's like, thank you. I'm like, where are you from? He's all, Boise, Idaho. See, being from SoCal, we called it Boise, but he said Boise. And I'm like, oh, we've been saying that wrong the whole time. But you talk about a guy that immediately made an impact on his teammates, because I was there and I lived it, was this man here. And he has my ultimate respect and admiration, because he just keeps on winning even in life, like he taught us on the field. So
Works up.
Thank you, Juan. That's nice, man. I love you. And we did some damn good things down there
Yes,
at
we did.
ASU. And we had a lot of fun, but we worked our asses off too. And like anything that's worth it wasn't work. We had fun. We challenged each other, and it was a group of guys that really were bonded for life from that experience. So thank you for that. I was a hot 172 pounds coming into ASU, 6'2", 172, ready to lead them to a national title. Like I said, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I felt right, like I was in the right spot.
And Jake, we talk about leadership, and I want to focus on that because, as you know, Arizona State has a new quarterback this year, Emory Jones, and there's a lot of talk. He's transferred in, senior transfer. I believe he has 2 years of eligibility left. You've been in a similar situation where you walked into a situation, there was a veteran team around you. You were the new guy. I think it was game 6 that you were named the starter after showing that promise in those first few games. Emory's kind of in that same situation right now. And you had to go in as a young man, first-time starter, and get the guys to follow you, get the guys to believe in you. As being that guy, the guy that had to make the other guys believe and follow, what are some things that Emory Jones, in your opinion, needs to focus on as he takes on that role this season, leading the Sun Devil offense?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Like I said, when I said clueless, I didn't have a plan when I went in. Like, for example, standing up after we lost, I think it was to Cal. We should have beat their ass on the road. On the plane back, guys are laughing. I stood up in the team meeting because Bruce said, anybody have anything else to say? And I stood up and said, I think we're a better team than that, and we should play harder and win for our seniors so they can go to a bowl game. We haven't been to a bowl game in a long time, and it would mean a lot to them. I didn't have anybody tell me that. And, this day and age, these kids are coached so much that I'm not sure if they can be authentic. I mean, you have to find those guys that are actually authentic, genuine leaders that will not just do what their guru tells them to do, their quarterback guru, or their dad that was a quarterback at some JC. Like, they just got to be themselves. Like, his kids got to come in here with an opportunity in front of him that's like, wow, look at this opportunity. If he comes in here, is authentic, is genuine, is a spark, makes plays when he has to, hopefully, he's set the tone in the off season and done whatever he could to establish his leadership role. And that's not coming and putting your foot down. That may be kind of easing into it and waiting for that moment that you get the ball with 2 minutes left and you got to go march down the field to beat a team. That's how you solidify your leadership. You can do all the rah-rah, weightlifting, this, that, and the other. But when the ball's in your hand, if you're the quarterback, you got to make the plays. And you also got to support your team, every one of them, not just your offense, sitting on the bench in between series. Get up there and root for your team. If it means something to you, it's going to show. And that's where leadership comes in, when you're into it. And it doesn't matter about anything but that moment right there. That's how I lived. That's how I played. So no one coached me how to do that. That was just my life. That's how I lived in the game. And this kid, that's what he needs to come in and do. And there'll be challenges, but don't be so quick, to jump in the portal if shit doesn't go right. Like, show us you got some tact, some fight, some will to, like, be the best for us. And I think if he can do that, there's no reason he can't have some success.
Hey, Jake, David Fulcher here, man. How are you, brother?
I'm good, David. Pleasure to talk to you, man.
All right, yes, sir, man. I wanted to ask a question because you just mentioned the portal. What's your thought about the portal? And when a guy comes in from another school, how much of a commitment is he really making to that school based off of not being the starter at the other school and now coming to this school and maybe want to make a difference and playing at ASU?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting life these kids are living. Juan can tell you, I had a kid, Jason Verdugo, one of my best friends. He was my backup for 3 years. And I started every game and I damn near finished every game. He got a little bit of duty, but if he would have been able to transfer in the portal, he would have gone and started anywhere else in the Pac-10. He could have started, but he was there. And you know what he gave to me? I mean, he gave up the opportunity a dream he had although he also played baseball. So it was like, hey, I can give up something for being able to pursue baseball. But he was like, he supported me. He had my back. When I was going through tough times, he was there. When I needed someone to like fire me up and piss me off where we almost go to blows, he was there. And he rode with me through all those ups and downs. And I wouldn't have been the player I was my senior year without Jason Verdugo being my number one, my homeboy, my best friend, and also my backup quarterback. So there's something to be said about guys just jumping. When you get a connection with somebody, then now they're gone. You don't realize how much that person might have meant to you by just sitting by you in the locker room, where you can feel like, I feel good with this dude's around me. I like his energy. I like the way he helps me when I can ask him a question. I don't have to wonder what his motives are. We got each other's backs. It's hard to establish that every year if someone's switching. So I'm not a big fan of the portal, but again, I'm also a fan of these kids that are being told and pushed into this game and coached and singular minded on football. Yeah, it's great that some of them can go get an opportunity somewhere else, but it just seems like an easy cop out that, I didn't get to be named the starter. I'm a freshman. I want to play. Well, what about like football is a rough sport. That starter could get injured tomorrow in practice, and now you are number one. There's something to be said about waiting for your chance to let it come to you, and then not just jumping ship and going to whatever you think is the next best thing. So I guess I'm saying I'm impartial to the portal, but I really, I don't like it that much.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Hey, Jake, your 2022 Sun Devil prediction. The floor is yours.
Man, I'll be honest with you. It's something I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to. I mean, I'm a Sun Devil. I'm going to watch and take my time to see how the team goes, but I haven't read into a whole lot going on. But the pack is unsettled right now with UCLA, USC news. All these players that there's talent across the entire league, right? I mean, ASU has talent. Now, do the kids buy in? Are they coached right? Where's their heart? What are they playing for? Who's their leaders? If they got those guys in place, there's no reason they can't have a really solid season. So I would love to see them, play for the Pac-10 title. I mean, that's the goal, right? Let's play for the Pac-10 title. What's the record behind that? You're going to have to be pretty damn good. You're going to have only be able to lose a couple games, but are they good enough to do that? I don't know. I'm not a prognosticator, man. I haven't dove into the numbers and looked at the players or watched them or gone to any camps or anything. So what I'm saying is just believe in each other. If we all believe that they can do it, and everyone's not like, man, Herm, they're not going to do that. They're going to be terrible this year. Well, that sucks. That's bad energy. So the town of Tempe, Phoenix, the whole state of Arizona needs to believe that they can win a Pac-12 championship. And if that's the case, then we'll feel that. The players will feel that. They'll feel that love. They'll feel that trust. They'll feel that encouragement. They won't feel instead the doubt. And so, it's really about the players, but also the fans having faith in the players and the faith in the system. And even if they don't like what Herm's done, or if they, this, that, and the other, are you a Sun Devil or not? Are you wearing maroon and gold? You come into the game, then let's root for these guys to be the best and win the Pac-12 championship.
Hall of Fame quarterback, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so
Gotta believe.
Definitely. Hey, Jake, thank you so much for taking your time out, brother. Really appreciate that, man. Look forward to talking to you again in the future.
I love it.
Jake.
You guys,
see you, my brother.
Y'all. Thanks for having me on the show, and good luck with this. Reach out anytime. I'm there for you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jake. Love you, brother.
Right. Peace.
See, the key word there, guys, and folks, that even on defense, man, when you got that guy, you get like a David Fulcher, a Ray Lewis, oh geez, I can't think of his name right now. Or Terrell Suggs. You get a dog like that on your team, or Jake, that could rally those guys. And that's the word, is believe, man.
It don't take much, man. When you got that dog, you got that guy, man, that leader, the guy that goes out there, man, fighting, tooth and nail, day in and day out, and people will follow that. People. The world. Look at the world. The world, when somebody has something going on in the world that everybody likes, people are going to buy into it. And when you buy into it, you got a good chance of being successful. And I think this football team has that opportunity. It's just a matter of, are they really going to buy in after all the things that's been going on with this football team in the last 6 or 7 months? Yep. And people changing and players going in and going out. If that happens, this football team can play with everybody else in the pack.
Preview and analysis. NAU. Juan, what do we need to do to win this game from an offensive perspective?
Well, you got to get a fast start, number one. And that's going to all circle around Emory Jones. Glenn Thomas is running a new offense. It's a new look offense. It's a pro style offense. So you got to establish that right out of the gate. You got to get this offensive line moving people out of the way. Again, Ben Scott, Ladarius Henderson, they got to rally these guys. We got 3 new starters on the O-line, Isaiah Glass, who's a sophomore at left tackle. Then you got 2 transfers, guys. You got Chris Martinez at the right guard, Des Holmes at the right tackle. O-line is key. It's key to success. That starts with fluidity. It starts with gelling together. This is one of those games where these guys have to go play together, communicate, get people out of the way, open those holes for, Zazavian Valade, for Ngata, all the guys that are going to be touching that football. But I think that some key players here that we want to see, that we want to get a feel for what's to come. I think Jalen Conyers, tight end. This guy's a monster. He's 6'8". He runs good routes in a pro-style offense, and we've seen it with the Gronkowskis and Tony Gonzalez's of the world. If your tight end is legit, if your tight end is good to go, your offense is literally unstoppable. ASU wants to run that pro style. They want to get back to that bruising attack, get away from the spread a little bit, even though Emory Jones can give you some of those plays and kind of keep that in your toolbox. But they need to make a statement, guys. They need to get that offensive line running people over, get the running backs room to run, 5 yards of carry, throw for 250, and also get Cam Johnson involved. He's a transfer wide receiver. That, I think, is another key to this offense. When you want to run the pro style, you got to have that deep threat. This guy, he's a mystery right now. He's a transfer. We had a lot to be desired from the receiving core last year. So when you talk about game one, what is it you want to accomplish? Yes, fundamentals. Yes, error-free football. Yes, put them away early. But you want to make a statement on offense. You want people to turn that film on, and even though it's in you, to go, oh, damn, this is a new ASU. This is a whole new attitude. And it starts with the 5 uglies up front and that run game. That run game got to get cranking, man. We can't be in that 3.7 per carry, 3.9 in the first half. They need to come out and start averaging 5.66 yards a carry, and then they'll make that statement.
All right, Mr. Fulcher, I would love to know that Hall of Fame perspective on that defense.
The defensive football team last year wasn't a bad defensive team. Some of the things that they struggled with happened in the third and fourth quarter. They were they were better defensively in the third and fourth quarter. They gave up 82 points in the first quarter and 97 points in the second quarter. Kind of hard to beat people when you give up those kind of points. But the way the defensive played last year, led by Kyle Sole, but they've got Merlin Robinson, DeAndre Pierce, DJ Davidson, Eric Gentry, and Jack Jones. Those guys had 40 or more tackles on their defense last year. So these guys are around the football. If the football team can just continue to make plays, third down percentage last year, they gave up over 50% of third down. You can't really do that. If you're going to be successful, you got to get off the field so you can get your offensive team back on the field. They gave up, I would say, a 2,500 yards rushing total on the year. That's a little bit too many yards to give up a game, or the year. You don't want to do that. But I also said something about penalties, and you said this to me earlier, big guy. They had 113 penalties for 1,030 yards on the year. When you give up that many penalties, discipline, that's where the discipline comes in. I think a lot of football teams, if you don't have the discipline, and I know they were behind in the games, a few games trying to come back. But even that, though, when you're behind in the game, you got to be at your best. You can't jump offside. You can't do those type of things on offense. And defensively, the personal fouls and some of the things that was happening with them. But I would tell you, this football team has the talent. They got the leadership. I just mentioned those leaders. 8 of the first 10 guys who are in 40 or more tackles on the year are guys who've been around the football and know what they need to do. It just takes, it takes the willpower and the want to. Do I want to go out there and represent Arizona State and make plays, or do I just want to sit back and let things happen? That school down north or south, wherever that other school is, that other Arizona school, they live to play Arizona State. We don't live to play U of A. We play everybody. And I think if this football team go into this season with that attitude, and it's going to take a lot of horse running and beating to go in there and get this first game out the way, because the second game does not matter. You don't win the first game, the second game does not matter. They've got to be poised, they've got to be smart, and they've got to just come out fighting. get off the field when you're supposed to get off the field and do what you're supposed to do. You take care of your job on defense, the offense take care of their job, you got a victory. And I believe if they can just put these things together, eliminate, if they're going to give up 82 points and 97 points in the first half, first quarter, second quarter, you're not going to win football games unless your offense is scoring 60, and we may not see that. So you got to keep the points down. You know, a good 13, 14, 15 points a game might win you a Pac-10 championship.
Now we're going to go to J.R. Redmond with his keys to the game.
I think the first key is to understand that you have a one-game season. And in saying that, that means you don't look forward to the big games that are coming down the way. When you're playing a school like NAU, which is obviously a smaller school, you tend to overlook them, right? So we want to make sure that we understand that this is a one-game season. The most important game they have to play is this game right now. The second key to this game will be getting off to a fast start, offensively, defensively, and special teams. Offensively, we get the ball first. You got to establish dominance up front. Get a body on a body, whether we're throwing the ball, making sure that the running backs are able to plug holes and pick up the blitzes. And if we're running the ball, making sure that, again, the linemen have a body on a body and there's no one running free. And we get downhill and let these running backs cut it loose. Defensively, got to get stops, right? Got to get pass breakups, right? Got to get the ball on the ground. Got to get tackles for losses. Have to get pressures on the quarterback. It can't be a comfortable situation for them. I believe if they get out to a fast start, as well as special teams, getting that big return, getting that big tackle to fire up the defense when they come out, great return, fire out the offense when they come out. These are the things that are going to need to happen for them to be successful. Get out to a fast start. That the playmakers make plays. That's going to be the key. The playmakers on both sides of the ball have to make plays, right? You got some really good guys that are returning on the defensive side of the ball. You got a couple good safeties. You got a couple good linebackers. You got a nice D lineman that's coming back. Hey, you guys up front and then the secondary, intermediate, you guys got to make plays. That's what has to happen. You can't play a game without making plays. So at the end of the day, everybody's going to be well coached. They have a great coaching staff. The players just have to make sure that they're doing what they're coached to do so that they can make the plays.
Well, fellas, those Saturday nights in Tempe, they're coming close. I can't wait, fellas. Wonderful show.
Well, you know, if I could throw a little bit of Detroit flavor in this, you know, Dan Campbell has a mural, if you guys have been watching Hard Knocks, throw that out there, that says Detroit versus everybody. And they got hats that say grit. When we talk about ASU football, we're kind of in that mode right now, aren't we? It's right. ASU versus everybody. Mm-hmm. And in order to make this happen, you got to show that grit. You got to have an attitude. You got to have an identity to your football team. I think we've been lacking in that department. Hopefully with these new faces and the new offense and the defense that's returning, with the guys that we got, with the players we got, hopefully they'll be able to set that attitude and tone right out of the gate.
And you know what else is true to this? I think we've lost the respect for the rest of the country. Everybody respected Arizona State many, many years ago. Recently, there's no respect. People aren't respecting this football program like they used to. Even the Pac-12 is not respecting this football team. When you look at, you know, where they have them sitting, I mean, they're on the bottom of the food chain. Mm-hmm. They don't expect them to get out of there if they're not 9, 10, or 11 ranked in the conference. So how do you get respect? You take it out on the first team this year. You do what you do and do what you're supposed to do. And if you go in there and you win in the football game and you're not winning like you're supposed to, people aren't going to respect that. And you want Oklahoma State to know that you're coming down there and Stillwater to play them. Right. You take care of business in game one and get that respect you're supposed to have, because following ASU, former Sun Devils, guys want to see this football team be successful and they want to see them win. So let's give them if they can just give them what we're asking for, give everybody what they want, everything should be okay.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next week with more great predictions. Signing off.